House Speaker Paul Ryan says he's just not yet ready to throw his support behind Donald Trump. The Republican chairman, Reince Priebus, saying the pair will meet next week, maybe Wednesday, to talk things over. On Fox and Friends today, Trump criticized his party for its performance 4 years ago in 2012.
Well, they lost a race that should have been won last time, and I've been very open about it. That was a race that should have easily been won. That was an easier race than we have this year, but I'll win. You already see the polls going up rapidly. But I was very, very surprised. I mean, he talks about unity, but what is this about unity?
This morning, about an hour ago, Trump tweeted, quote, "Paul Ryan said that I inherited something very special, the Republican Party. Wrong. I didn't inherit it. I won it with millions of voters," end quote. Senior national correspondent John Roberts back on the road traveling with the Trump team live in Omaha, Nebraska. John, good day to you.
Bill, good morning to you. And this is either turning out to be a battle of wills or certainly a battle of position and seniority. The big question this morning, will Paul Ryan get behind Donald Trump? And as importantly, will Donald Trump get behind Paul Ryan? Not just a few minutes after Ryan said yesterday that he is not ready to support Trump. Trump came out and said he is not yet ready to support Ryan's agenda, though, as you pointed out. Trump did say this morning that the two of them will meet next week, likely on Wednesday. This may all be a negotiating tactic on the part of Paul Ryan, but Trump is clearly not happy about it. Here's what he said this morning.
He can do whatever he wants to do. It's fine. But I was surprised by it. And by the way, many other people were surprised by it. And some were really surprised by it and not happy about it. He set a record, an all-time record, for votes gotten by somebody running.
Meantime, more GOP establishment figures are getting behind Donald Trump. Representative Darrell Issa of California yesterday said he would endorse him, and former Texas Governor Rick Perry threw his full support behind Donald Trump, saying he would even be his running mate. Now remember, Rick Perry is a guy who said last summer of Donald Trump, quote, "Donald Trump's candidacy is a cancer on conservatism, and it must be clearly diagnosed, excised, and discarded." So clearly, Rick Perry may have some making up to do with Donald Trump if he hopes to be his running mate.
The process has begun. What have you heard? What bits of information have you picked up on that, on the selection for a VP?
They're definitely vetting a lot of candidates. I'm hearing that it's not going to happen until just before the convention, which is, pretty traditional. You like to have that week-long run-up before the convention. Donald Trump has suggested it might even happen at the convention itself. But one thing it looks like is not going to happen is that Donald Trump will not nominate a Democrat to be his running mate. Ben Carson had floated that yesterday. It immediately sent shockwaves through the Republican Party in much the same way John McCain did in 2008 when he suggested he might pick Joe Lieberman to be his running mate. Donald Trump certainly doesn't want people to think that he's not a real conservative, and nominating a Democrat might just reinforce that. Trump also saying this morning on Fox and Friends that he's amused by all these people coming out saying they won't be his running mate. Here's Trump.
I do get a kick out of it. I won't mention names because I don't want to embarrass anybody.
Tell us who's not on the list.
No, all of these, so many people are saying, I've decided to turn it down. They were never on the list. I mean, in all fairness, I won't embarrass them, but senators and governors, and they're out saying, I've decided not to accept, and I never even talked to them.
One person that Donald Trump really does like is Marco Rubio, though Rubio does not seem interested. I've spoken to people inside Rubio's camp. Their belief is that Donald Trump is going to lose in historic fashion in November, Bill, and they don't want Rubio anywhere near that when it happens.
Wow.
Because they want him to run again in 2020.
Wow. John Roberts, thanks. In Nebraska, we'll